peace? What does it mean to me?
I am a big proponent of world peace.
Peace is compassion, empathy, understanding.
What are you willing to do for peace?
Peace is
the ability to see the positive side of every experience and realize that no matter what happens, it helps you grow to become the best version of you.
Peace means serenity to me. When I love myself more, I can love others better.
Peace is the highest goal of our species.
In 1981, the United Nations established the International Day of Peace on September 21st, a day for us all to pause our busy lives, take a breath, look at our neighbors, and to be at peace. A day to celebrate our differences, to hug our neighbors. A day to celebrate humanity on this vast planet. In 2020, we need this moment more than ever. A moment of respite from the fighting, conflicts, and chaos we're all going through. Join us live on IBM TV on September 21st from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time to take a moment to celebrate our differences and join together in our virtual community for the International Day of Peace.
Welcome everyone. Today I have another new show with economical aspects. I bring different guests from different arena. Someone from macroeconomics point of view, like he's developing power plants. Someone come from the academic business developments. Few of the people come up with this financial aspect from London. And also we have very, very special guest who actually helps to build up different industries. Now he live in Nepal. First, I would like to welcome Rifat. Then I want to welcome Ariful.
Oh.
Then I want to welcome Eme Khans.
Hello.
Mr. Ami.
Hi.
As well as I want to welcome Mr. Akku Chaudhary. So hello everyone, how are you today?
We are all fine.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
We are fine.
Yes. I want to start with Mr. Rifat. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Sharif Bhai. I'm Rifat Mahmood. I'm a chemical engineering graduate. I'm working for a state-owned power generation company. Apart from learning about engineering or energy, I'm interested to learn about project management and procurement. I was graduated in the year 2015 and almost 5 years of professional experience I have. That's pretty much about myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ariful, can you please introduce yourself? You are from academic business and backgrounds. So can you please introduce your background from academia and how you're working right now?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Shariful, for inviting me in this global program. It is my pleasure to be here with all distinguished guests from all over the world. Yes, my name is Ariful Alam. I am an expert in education industry, including student mobility. I have been working in the education industry for the last 12 years with student mobility and higher education. I have been working with Cambridge Education Group as a director, and as well as I have been working with Daffodil Family, which is one of the mother organization for about 15 plus educational institutions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Khan, can you please introduce yourself? I think you are from Britain, Great Britain, right? So yeah.
Yes. My name is Khan, and I'm an accountant. Been completed ACC recently. And I'm also a legal consultant for financial firms, especially for the regulatory sector. And I'm working for this industry for the last 10 years. And that's pretty much for me. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Desh.
Hi, everybody. Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Des Ame. I'm the managing director of Ame Finance Academy based in London. And we help people to create multiple sources of income and to build generational wealth. We are wealth creation experts specializing in property growth, online trading, e-commerce, which is drop shipping, and we also have an entrepreneurship program that's allowing people to create 6 and 7 figure incomes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I directly want to go to Mr. Rifat, because you are directly engaged with developing power plants, and like you as a project manager, you are taking a lot of initiative and you are working with the state-owned company. So my question is that how you as how you actually work with these projects. What's the experience you want to share with us in terms of economical aspects, and how actually power generations company and this kind of things helping country like Bangladesh, and how it works. I want your detailed experience on that particular area.
Thank you, Sharif Bhai, for this question. Well, the power generation or all this entire energy business in our country, once upon a time, it was totally state-owned. Say, for example, the prime energy traders of our country were Bangladesh Power Development Board and Petrobangla. So what happened right after the independence, we have seen that these organizations have worked on generating public goods, providing public goods, and all those things. So, generating public service, providing public service. So then what happened in this new millennium, in the first decade, our government thought that, can we make some money? Can we make things faster? And can we make this the provision of service easier? So from that perspective, our government has created several state-owned companies, some in the generation sector, some in the distribution sector, some in the transmission sector. And the energy sector of our country, it has grown for the last 1 decade and more. For example, I can give you an idea. In around the year 2010 and all those, and 2010 or 2013, at that time, the total installed power generation capacity was a little bit less than 6,000 megawatt, which is, we have a huge population. So, and the domestic sector is the dominating sector for consuming energy, electricity, to be specific. So what happened? With only 6,000 megawatt of power, we had problems. We had load shedding, and our process of industrialization, our dream of moving from an agro-based country to an industry-oriented country, it was getting hampered. So what the government did, government created several state-owned companies, some in the transmission, some in the distribution, and some in the generation sector. So now you can see that today we have an installed capacity of more than 20,000 megawatt of electricity. So what is happening? The electricity is reaching people, is reaching at the doorsteps of the mass people. People are getting benefits from it. And by the end of 2021, our government has this vision of increasing this power generation capacity to 30,000 megawatt. And we have this vision of 2041. By the year 2041, we want to be a developed country. And by then, we have this aim, we have this target to generate a power, a total amount of 60,000 megawatt power. So without this power, we cannot expect much of industrialization. We cannot expect much of, the improvement of daily life and lifestyle of our mass people. So from that perspective, our government is working. So I think that's pretty much, if I want to give a short introduction about these things.
Yes, thank you. I will come to you. Again, I want to go to Mr. Arif. Mr. Arif, you are in academia and you are growing the academic business and in many dynamic way. And perhaps two largest corporations you are working and you have experience in the academic arena. So can you please share your experience and how you help two big corporations to grow the business and grow the academic business and how it works, as well as I know that you have a very dynamic relationship around the world. So how you want to introduce this business relationship in the COVID period?
Well, thank you very much for your nice question. As you know, Bangladesh, India was, I think, 1971. We got the independence from Pakistan. So it is not more than 50 years. So within this period, under the leadership of government, we have developed much in the education sector. At this moment, under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the education sector in Bangladesh growing very fast in terms of quantity and quality, but we are lagging behind in terms of sustainable development, sustainable growth. But our growth rate is very high in the education industry in terms of quantity and quality. And in the international area, we are well connected. So in terms of education exchange or transnational education, we are moving very faster like other countries. But during the COVID period, we thought that we are enough well prepared for delivering the education to our students. Unfortunately, you see the all around the world, actually, you are not prepared to deliver the education to online. We are still struggling, but still under the leadership of this government, the situation, we are tackling the situation. So in terms of financial aspect, if you see, definitely there is a huge impact in the education area. Those who are running the private institution, I am working with the private organizations. So we are really financially, definitely we are having challenge. But on the other sector, on the other hand, the private institution actually moving faster than public because we can make the decision very fast than public. So in terms of economy, as we are moving faster, then we can generate the revenue faster than public are not looking for the revenue generation. So in terms of this, I will say definitely we are moving positively.
Yes, Mr. M. A. Khan, you are from Great Britain, and you are involved with banking and investment banking and this kind of thing. What's the situation in COVID right now in Britain, and how you want to share this investment banking experience with us?
Actually, thank you for your questions, and I would recommend to, be in a different side of your, questions. I will avoid the investment side. I will give you some briefing about the accountancy and taxations and the COVID situations. Especially UK is struggling with production services. Even everywhere is locked down and there is no people is moving. Some people are moving just if it is necessary, otherwise they're not moving. But most of the cases, especially it is a service sector industry and the economy is mostly service oriented, and we could generate our services through online platform. And as an accountant and tax advisor, we have been able to produce a lot of services even though we are working from home. And for UK, especially as it is majority is a service sector based economy, so it was struggling, but the IT was the main key areas where we need to based on for our services. For physical, products and goods where we required, we need to order it online, and it has been delivered to our home. So somehow economy was running quite good, but not in a full range. 20% has been declined as a GDP, or you can say the productions. So 80% was still working very well. That's when the effect has came up, and the expectation of the recession is very, sure for the UK economy, consistent to the other world and consistent to other countries of the world. Even I would say that government, the Treasury, Mr. Sunak has taken a very right steps to flow the money into the economy. He has increased the money supply to the economy. It is a very big time money supply he has provided. All the people, especially whoever is employee and whoever is a business, they have been provided quite a good money in terms of supporting for the rent, employees for their own livelihood like salary and wages by the job retention scheme. And for the registered business, especially who are in the street, they have been given around 10 to 25,000 pounds for covering their expenses and losses for these pandemic situations. Even government has initiated giving 50,000 pounds of bounce back loan, which is very low interest, and people can get that money paying dividends or paying salaries, paying rents, and this was very helpful. We were expecting the housing market will be collapsing, but unfortunately it didn't collapse. It went up. Even the demand has went up because people has got a lot of money. And the economy definitely has got a lot of money supply at this moment. So it will be up until, I hope, it'll be okay and recovering from this downturn up until next year. So government is really doing well in terms of decision making, money flow to the businesses. And from investment side, I would recommend that Mr. Dasami, he is the best person to talk about it, and he's very expert in it. So I'll recommend to be there.
Yes, about the investment, I know that you have a like academy. You are trying to train people for investment and other things. I want to know that we saw many academy, many people are working with the investment and other things. So, but my point of view is that what's the inner strategy you have, and what's the success rate of your students for the investment banking and other things? Beside that, Mr. Ariful, I am also looking for you. Yes, Mr. Desh, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So in the academy, there are two main investment opportunities that we teach. The first being property. So we teach people how to invest in the property market. And Mr. Khan, just gave a very nice overview as to the current situation. So what we have right now is an investor's market. We have a lot of people who are able to purchase property on probate from people who have, unfortunately passed away. These properties are heavily discounted, sometimes up to 25, 30%. So we teach people how they can acquire these properties below market value and then be able to refurbish them to sell them for a very quick profit. Sometimes they can build a portfolio, so they will refurbish, sell, use the money that they've made to purchase another one. So we have many students who have been able to create portfolios from 0 to 7, 8, 9 in a very short space of time. And the other investment opportunity is the foreign exchange market, the online currency market, being able to buy and sell currency online. This is a huge market. It's the biggest financial market in the whole entire world. It's a massive $6.6 trillion that's traded every single day. And the buying of selling and currencies can be very lucrative when you are able to buy and sell at the right time online. So what we give our students is access to an unbelievable scanner. And this scanner, it replaces about 6 human beings because it scans the market on every single time frame, scanning every single major currency pair in the world to find trade opportunities for our members. And the scanner is looking for market reversal. So very quickly, we sell when the market is high and we buy when the market is low. And we have this scanner that's able to identify these highly profitable trades. So trading is definitely something that we recommend for people, especially during this recession, because online currency trading is actually recession proof. We don't care if the market goes up and we don't care if it goes down, as long as, of course, we are going the right way. And the last area is e-commerce, drop shipping, utilizing platforms such as Amazon, Alibaba, Shopify, where people can buy and sell items online. So we culminate all of these skills to help ordinary people to create multiple income streams and to build generational wealth.
Thank you. Rifat and Arif, I'm actually looking for them because I have few interesting questions about the power plants and education industry. But let's continue about this investment and other thing. Mr. Khan, my questions to you, let's say that like you are working with the investment banking and other things. So my issue is that how you want to attract like the investors. You are focusing on the big investment or small investments, or which is the better strategy for investment and this kind of thing? What do you want to focus? How do you want to get in?
Thank you for the question. This is a very talented question, I would say, Eva, because the whole economy, if you analyze who is the, most, valuable in the economy, the consumer. And FCA and Bank of England, they are concerned about their security, safety, and their aspects, because they are contributing more. If you go to Coca-Cola, who is having Coke? The consumers. So they are contributing more. So if you talk about the investment, I would rather say the micro or macro. I would rather say micro is the most important thing, and the small businesses who are running the business. If you go to the high street, in every London or UK street, you will see a lot of small shops who are running the whole economy. If you go to a corner shop, they are giving you daily necessary goods and services for you. The big company like Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury, they're also doing the same thing, but in a large scale and in a cheaper or economic scale. But I would say, in convenience perspective, the corner shops are most important for us. Even in Corona situation, they are the main people who has given us the survival environment to buy my daily necessary foods. So I need to invest and look after more to the microeconomic institution, especially the small institution. Even if you go to government perspective, government has given the money, especially these funds or these grants for the employees, especially, and especially to the small business who has got less like turnover and no more than 50,000 pounds worth of turnover. They're looking after, government has looked after those businesses. So that's when, in government's perspective, they're looking after the small businesses, not to the big corporation. Because big corporation only sucking money from the consumers. They are making billions of pounds and trillions of pounds. They're just building their wealth. Like if you say Microsoft, they don't need that much of money. They're just building wealth for the next products or their huge number of employees. In the UK, if you see who is running the economy, the mainly is the small business, and government is looking after them. If they are sustained, means the economy is sustained.
Thank you. But I directly want to go to Rifat. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sharif, I can hear you.
Yes. As you are working with the state-owned company and you are working especially power sectors, I have a question. Let's say when we work with the global arena, they said developing nation has to do renewable energy, but country like Bangladesh, its land is very limited. Sometimes they say that they cannot go for coal-based power plant. Sometimes there are many kind of advice and other things actually come. But my specific question is that how a state-owned company basically managing the strategy and how effective it is, and how this in terms of investment and other things, how actually these developing nations, country like Bangladesh, country like India, how productive it is? What's your idea? Because you are directly from industry, you are not only the consultant or like you are from the root level, from direct industry. So what's your analysis? How do you want to explain with us?
Okay, thank you, Sharif bhai. Basically, yeah, we were right now we are talking about strategy. So our government has 5 strategies. So out of these 5, these three are related to the status quo. So the first one is to increase the generation, power generation. Second one is decreasing the loss in transmission. The third one is decreasing the loss in distribution. So these 3 things are mostly technical. Number 4 and 5. Number 4, it's about building of capacity so that we can grow, or we can take projects by ourselves. And number five is about getting into some renewable energy. So now, if I have to go deep down inside the aspects which are going around in our country, renewables for our in the purview of our government, government is saying that they are experimenting. We are still on the experimenting phase on renewable energy. So the thing is, we have some pilot plants. We have some, for example, in the same city where I live. We say I'm living in Shirazganj. So in Shirazganj, government has set up 4 wind turbines, and all these are pilot plants. And in the power plant I work in Shirazganj power plant. In my vicinity, there's a 7 megawatt solar photovoltaic power generation capacity, which is connected to the national grid. So the thing is, our government right now, they're still experimenting on renewable energy, and we have some challenges. For example, we do not have sufficient sunlight throughout the year, and already Sharif bhai has shed some light upon the issue that we have a huge population, but our landmass is not that big. If you make a rank of all the countries on the basis of their population, we will make the top 10, no doubt about it. But if you make a list of in terms of the territory, we will hardly make the top 100. So you can see the challenge. So if we have to go to solar energy, or if we want to set up more and more wind turbine, then we have to relocate our people, which is really tough. So what our government is doing, our government right now, they're looking for some suitable places where we can have sunlight for whole of the year, where we can have sufficient flow of wind throughout the whole of the year. The wind turbines I have been talking about, those have been installed right beside a river bank, right beside the river bank of Jamuna. So what happens is that, when you set up a wind turbine, the people of the community, there are some responses from the people. For example, if there is some noise issue, they will definitely the community will get back to the government that there is some noise issue, so we cannot deal with it. If there is some other technical issue, that there is not enough wind, so it cannot supply enough electricity to the grid, that will be another issue. And the third issue that's quite interesting, nowadays, you know that our government has declared thunderstorm as a national disaster. A few days back, there was a severe thunderstorm, and one of the wind turbines has been severely damaged. So that is now out of operation. And talking about if I want to talk about solar energy, in the vicinity of my power plant, there were some barren lands. Those were mostly some raised land from the river. So 3 or 4 months of the year, the region is usually underwater. So we cannot use that landmass for any other purpose. So the government has selected this landmass. So if we cannot use it for any other purpose, why not make some solar power? And the other options, if we want to talk about the other options relating to renewable energies, for example, you can say about geothermal energy. We are quite unfortunate because we do not have hot rocks in our country. We don't have hot springs, so we cannot go for geothermal. So if we want to talk about hydro, we already have one electricity power plant in the Chittagong hill tracts. It's called the Kaptai power plant, hydroelectric power plant. Now the problem with hydro is when you work with hydroelectricity, you have to make huge banks and embankments and dams, and you have to create an obstacle in the natural flow of water in the river, and it often comes with a huge price. For example, when that project was implemented, the huge let me say an entire community of tribal people, they had to be shifted from their land, and this land has been historically theirs. So when we had to remove them, it created an agitation, a disturbance among them. Many of them still lament because if you go to visit that place today, they had their royal palace, and that palace is also underwater right now. So if we want to talk about the commercial use of renewable energy in our country, in the landscape of our country, the problem is we are not ready to pay the price. The price doesn't come in terms of money. It comes as other impacts on the community, other impacts on the society. And for these reasons, our government is still experimenting, and they're making slow progress in the use of renewable energy. But as I have said earlier, that this use of renewable energy for commercially, it has been included in the strategies of government. So we hope in near future we can see some developments. Already some small developments are there. For example, if you're making a very high-rise building, in that case, the government has made a ratio, say 30-70 or 20-80. So this 20 is the amount of energy you produce for yourself. You produce for yourself. How do you produce it? You use your very own solar panels. So that's how you power 20. You source 20% of your energy. So this is one thing. The other thing is we have a government body named SREDA, Sustainable Renewable Energy Development Authority. So what they did, they have made a list of eligible vendors who can supply you the solar panels, the solar pumps, and wind turbines, everything. So the government has published a list of vendors who can give you some genuine products that can serve you. And I think I missed the portion about solar pump. Solar pump is a very good option. Let's say it's the best option you have. But the problem is this: solar pump is a capital-intensive device. So the problem is, once you buy it, you can use this solar pump for 4 or 5 years without any problem, with zero fuel cost. Let me say that. But the problem is the price is 4 times, 5 times, or 6 times the price of a regular pump. If you want to set up a normal dimple pump, if you have this access to electricity, then no farmer, no cultivator will be interested in the solar pump. Why? Because it's not still competitive. So for all these reasons, I would like to say that our government is moving slow on renewable energies. And a small footnote on coal power, our government has made some corrections in its energy policy, and now this emphasis has been shifted from coal power to liquefied natural gas. So once upon a time, the government had this intention of using coal as primary power energy source, but now the government has experienced some problems, there have been some serious natural some serious environmental issues. So in the face of all these situations, our government has moved on from their strategy with coal, and now they're into liquefied natural gas technology. So this is cleaner. From a technical perspective, we can say this is cleaner. The pollution is less. And if you want to import LNG, it's quite available. The transmission, distribution, they are less hazardous. So for these reasons, maybe our government is emphasizing on LNG. So we have been talking about the renewables, some of the options, why they're not still suitable for us, and why some of these things are still in the experimenting sector. We have been talking about our government, their strategies on how to make a difference. When you make a building, a certain portion of your power has to be from solar side. And we have been talking about why our government has shifted from coal to LNG. I think that's pretty much about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rifat. I want to ask a question, Mr. Desh, because you are running training and development for the investment banking and this kind of things. My question is that in COVID period, how actually your organization helping different kind of youth communities and different kind of people, those who lose job in Britain, and how many people you are trying to get in, and what's the result?
Yeah, absolutely. So fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, many people are now at home during lockdown, and even after lockdown, there's been a trend now for people to just prefer to work from home. Unfortunately, the courses that we run, the online trading, the currency trading, all of this can be done from home. So for a lot of young people, for a lot of displaced people who have been put on furlough, which is the scheme that they have here to help people who to help employers to still pay their employees, and also people that have been made redundant, people that have lost their jobs. We've helped them by giving them a replacement income. We've genuinely helped people to replace their income whilst working from home for maybe 2 to 3 hours per day. And as well as that, they now have the opportunity to become entrepreneurs. So we then teach them how to use the currency exchange knowledge that they have to build organizations and to invest in other businesses as well. So in terms of results, we found that over the last few months, the company has tripled in size. But for the people that are coming on board, around 80% have been able to completely replace their income, which is a phenomenal rate. And it's because in this industry, success leaves clues. So learning something like currency trading, if you're learning from somebody who already has results, then you too will have results too, because it's simply a case of following what the person before you has done. Somebody's getting results. You just mirror that teaching, mirror those trades. So it's been absolutely fantastic. So we've been a shining light in a time of darkness. There's so much chaos and confusion, but people can genuinely come into this industry, learn how to trade, and then replace their income.
Thank you. Mr. Arif, I want to ask you a question because you from 2005. Can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I can hear.
Yes, thank you. Basically, we have a people from different part of the world, so that's why sometimes we face internet problems. Sorry, today we have a plan to join with Mr. Akku Chaudhary. He is from Nepal, but due to internet connections, he cannot join today. Sorry about that. Mr. Arif, from 2005, you are also involved with Cambrian Education Group, and secondly, you involved with Daffodil Family. So it's one of the largest. They are the group of companies in education industry. So my question is that how, like from this kind of corporations actually workings with the global arena, and I know that huge amount of people, they go outside from Bangladesh and they study there and they return even in these periods. So how it will be benefited for the economy, how it help to reshape the country like Bangladesh or country like South Asian, any kind of country, how the educated group of people, when they go back to Bangladesh, how they help to grow the economy. What your perspective, because you have a huge experience on that particular field.
If you consider the statistics, you will find Bangladesh should be the maybe third largest or fourth largest exporter for international student to Europe and America. So Bangladesh is a good market for international universities like UK, America, Australia, Canada. So if we consider the economical aspect, Bangladesh is a populated country. People say it is overpopulated country. So we export people, human resources to other countries. When we send people to other countries, unskilled people, then they may earn monthly 20,000, 2,000 USD, or 200 or 500 USD, not more than maybe 600 USD. But when a student working abroad, during their study, even they can earn about $1,000 if they do part time. Like they can work legally 20 hours in Europe and America. So after their graduation, there's a route called post-study work permit. So during their post-study work permit, they are eligible, they are entitled to work full time. So during their full-time job, they can earn monthly about $2,000 or $3,000, or someone maybe $5,000. So if you consider the education sending student to abroad, they are earning more than general labor. And after that, when they complete their post-study work permit, they can apply for PR, permanent residency, or other options. So when they get that option, they become more experienced. When they become more experienced, their salary automatically become higher than before. So that's how they can, the exporting student from Bangladesh can be the good way to generate foreign currency, foreign revenue.
So my question is that, like example, like when they return to Bangladesh, so do they get any scope on when they return to their country? Do they get enough scope for doing job, doing business, or doing any kind of new things? Or what the statistics and what's the info?
Okay. Earlier, it was very difficult to cope with the new situation in Bangladesh. Bangladesh now become the part of global village. So we have many industries at this moment merging with international companies, and international companies coming in Bangladesh. So when the experience match with the local companies or multinational company based in Bangladesh, then people get very easily the scope to work here. So that's how people are coming in Bangladesh and contributing to the national economy. So definitely, when they are coming back, they are contributing to the national economy. Definitely.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Khan. I have a questions to you because already you are settled down in UK and you are trying to build up the business. So, what's the opportunity you find in UK and European economy? And beside that, how you contributing for your nations? How you actually helping your nations? Even you are a big fan of micro initiative. So, how actually micro initiative can help a nations to build up in this COVID period?
Thank you for the question. In UK, I came as a student, and Mr. Arif has rightly said that how one student can be an international or migrant citizen in another country, and I am one of the example for that. And I'm contributing quite good as a serviceman to the UK economy, and definitely I'm getting out of I mean, against the services, I'm getting some money. So definitely I am building my wealth and by the way of service, providing service in the UK. And definitely I am also remitting a lot of money to Bangladesh because I have some outsourced center in Bangladesh where I have employed around 5 people who are giving me services via my center. And I'm definitely contributing to the Bangladesh economy as well because I'm sending remittance because they are getting remittance from UK, my employee, and they are qualified. And some of them, they have been qualified from UK, and all of them mostly are ACCA, and definitely ACCA is international qualification. So the people sitting down in Bangladesh and earning around 50,000 Bangladeshi taka, which is 500 pound a month in the UK context. So it is much cheaper for me and higher and good salary for Bangladesh context because you can't get 50,000 in just getting a BBA and MBA degree. I mean, from Bangladesh, you must have to have an international qualification to work in UK context or Australia context or Canada or other country context. Then you can get very high salary. So I would recommend for Bangladeshi students to get an international professional qualification. This is more valuable into the economy because I'm an accountant and I got a BBA degree from United International University in Bangladesh and MBA from UK, but I didn't feel that that qualification will give me a good exposure to the employment because I can get maximum 2,000 to 2,500 pound per month, which is equivalent to Bangladeshi taka 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs maximum. But potentially I am earning far more beyond that because my company earning in total, they're sensitive, but just for the sake of argument, I have to disclose that information. That I'm earning, I mean, even if I say last 2 years of projections is Bangladeshi amount, I'll give you the GBP amount, which is per year 120. I mean, as a turnover. I am working and my staff is working. I'm not paying more than 3,000 to 5,000 pounds a month to my staff. I'm paying them 3,000 pounds. So technically, I'm generating more income as a Bangladeshi, citizen while I'm residing in the UK. So my experience is just for 3 years. So by having the professional qualification, I'm earning more. So Mr. Arif has rightly said that as a normal uneducated person, he cannot earn more than $600, where I am earning far more beyond that. And for having a BB and MB degree is not, very valuable degree in the UK or other international context, until unless you have a very good qualification like a legal backgrounds or, professional background like accountancy or CIMA qualifications. Okay, so if you have that, and if you promote those qualifications, especially for engineering, if you have some professional qualification like applied, engineering, rather than having a theoretical things, which is not adding any values to the students and the professionals and the industry. I think the educational system should, develop a environment having an applied knowledge and also having the theory as a fusion, so that, I would say 50-50 should be the combinations, not exactly 100% theory and you don't know anything about it. And if you go to the industry, you don't know anything about the industry. You're not ready to go for the job. So as an accountant, I was not ready. I was working part-time, plus I was having my degree and I have accumulated my experience. And when I finish my degree, and I'm a qualified accountant, means I'm ready to work and I'm quite experienced for 5 years. By having a BBA degree, an MBA degree in Bangladesh, I haven't got that exposure. I got finance from United University, but I don't know anything about the industry. I'm not fit for the job. So this type of qualification is not adding any values to the industry. So that's mean our education system needs to be reshaped, and it needs to be adjust according to the world demands and world's expectations. Why we should, reshape our whole education systems. BBMB is, quite often you will find like a bachelor degree. It's just a BCom and BSc, something like this. It's very general. There is no applied knowledge. This is the very frustrating news for Bangladeshi students and the academicians, that their students and their products is not qualified for the world context in the international arena at all. You need to have very applied knowledge for the industry. You should have, like Dasami, he is an academician, industry. He's a trader, he is an analyst, and he is an educator. So he has got three things altogether. So he has blended this knowledge with the applied things. So he could generate more income, and also he can teach how to generate income. So he also was a school teacher, plus he has learned the trading in an applied way, but on his own, for his own interest. For me, I had to generate my income, and I have to learn the things so that in practice I can work more rather than having theory. Theory you learn 3 months after, you forget everything. It doesn't have any values. You finish your degree, you got 3.5 CGPA out of 4. It doesn't have any values. As long as you don't, as long as you know something and in applied sense, and you can make a solution of some problems, then you can add value to the economy. So my main point is that our education system is not quite fit for the international arena at all. As a student of Bangladesh, not even quite old student, I'm very concurrent student. I graduated from United University from 2009. So I established myself within 10 years time in the UK as a student, and I established my firms. I have established around 5 companies, and where every company is a service based, and I'm generating more income as a student of Bangladesh. And I would say I have developed my skills along with my educations. I studied one subject, I understand that, and I applied it and I practiced it. I try to match my educations with my practical side of it. Okay, so this is helping me to generate more income, because I can add more values to the society, economy. I can make solution to the problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Desh, like you are a trainer, but my question is that in COVID period, many people become unemployed, but how your organization can help them, or example, how actually different kind of people, those who lose their job, they getting benefit from this kind of training centers, or is it helpful, or is how it helpful? Can you explain, please? You have to unmute yourself. Desh, you have to unmute yourself.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Apologies. It can be devastating when one loses their job, and of course, the hardest part about losing one's job is losing their confidence. So one of the first things we have to do is work on the mindset to get people in the right mindset to trade, because they're going from working 9 to 5, for example, to a trading environment which is completely different. This is where they have to use whatever money they have left to try and generate an income. So it's a completely different environment. So we have to prepare them for that. So they pay roughly around $200 to get started, and that covers for their initial education. The education takes around 3 weeks, and in that 3-week time period, they will learn the fundamentals of trading, and they will also learn how they can multiply their money just like the banks do. They'll also learn how to use our Harmonic Scanner, which is the #1 tool that we use in order to generate an income. The Harmonic Scanner is investment banking software. It's very, very, very sophisticated. But the most impressive part about the scanner is the fact that it's very intuitive and very easy to use. If you can count 1, 2, 3 and say ABC, then you can use this scanner. It's identifying highly profitable trades in the market, so that people who have just lost their jobs, they don't have to spend hours analyzing charts. They don't have to spend hours drawing up charts. That the scanner does all of this for them all they need to do is use a 3-step confirmation in order to take these profitable trades. So in real terms, we can take somebody who has just lost their job. We give them their initial presentation. They pay their $200 to get started. They'll spend 3 weeks learning the systems, learning how to use the scanner, learning the fundamentals of trading. Then they will practice on a demo account for maybe another week. Here, a demo account is the money is not real, but the conditions are real. So that allows them to get used to placing trades and get used to the environment. Now, the most important part of anyone who decides to trade is to apply good risk management. That's so important. But what does that look like? Well, good risk management is only risking 3% of your account at any one time. Only ever risking 3%. But what makes a good trader is being able to go into a trade where you're risking 3%, something that's very small, but your potential gain is very big. So the potential gain could be 12% or even 15%. And because you're using the scanner, you have an incredible win ratio. So you have a good risk to reward, an excellent win ratio, and that makes for consistent profits week on week on week. So we try to get people to the point where they can comfortably make £500 per day. That's very achievable. And we also teach people something called compounding, compound interest. Einstein said, he who understands it earns it. He who doesn't understand compound interest pays it. You see, when you understand compound interest, you could take a very small amount of money, let's say $100, and you could compound it by growing that $100 by 8% a day. Making 8% a day with our scanner, the Harmonic Scanner, is simple. What you do every day doesn't change. So on day one, you've made $8 on your £100. It doesn't sound like very much, but if you consistently make 8% on your account every single day, the compound effect kicks in. So we have students who are able to take a $200 account, which is the recommended amount to get started, apply 8% growth per day, and they are able to grow that amount of money to over $100,000 in 80 to 70 trading days. Compound interest is absolutely sensational. So we're helping people who are unemployed. The hardest part for somebody that's unemployed is just working on the mindset, because people are so used to working 9 to 5. It's hard for them to imagine making their daily amount of money in just 1 to 2 hours a day.
Thank you, Mr. Rifat. I want to ask you a question. As you have a strong engagement with the power plant developments, even the economic zones and other things, and all of the things are macro initiatives. My question is that, like, why a developing nations first focus on energy sectors, and second things, what is the prospect of industrializations of this kind of countries? Like, how actually, because everyone complain developing nation has a lot of challenges. They do not have proper human resources, they have many corruptions, many things. But my question is that, strategically, how actually government taking initiative, how it will be helpful for modern industrialization?
Thank you, Sharif bhai. Actually, the thing is, so the government, for now, they're setting up lots of power plants. Why? Because if we want to move from an agro-based economy to a tech-based economy to a highly industrialized and manufacturing-based economy, we need power. If we want to set up some industries, several times, several delegates from developed worlds, they come visit us. They want to invest in our country. Why they want to invest in our country? Because we have lots of people. So the labor that they may receive is supposed to be cheap. Now the problem is they ask for gas connection. So if our government doesn't have sufficient gas production, our government cannot do that. If they ask for cheap electricity, say if you say Mr. Tata came and visited us, and he wanted to set up some steel industry in our country. So if he wants to set up some huge electric arc furnace, some huge say inductive furnace, the first thing he needs is electricity. So if there is no power, so the industrialization cannot take place. And let me tell you something interesting. For example, we have reached the target of say 40,000 megawatt or 60,000 megawatt of power generation, that doesn't guarantee an over the night industrialization in the country. So what's the thing here? So basically, our government is creating an investment-friendly economy and an industry-friendly economy, so that if there's an offer the next time, our government can afford it. For many of the times before, there were several offers. The Samsung, Hyundai, and then Mr. Tata. So different times, different countries and delegates, they visit us. They want to set up their industry here. But the prime problem is that we cannot give them sufficient power. So the moment we can ensure that, they can ensure that yes, we're coming. They will give you a contract instantly that yes, we're coming. And the second thing is, you were talking about human resource development, and I agree with you. Now the thing is, if there are not enough jobs, if you don't have sufficient jobs, then people will not feel encouraged to take the technical education. For example, when you take our power project, the Shirazganj power project, when it was in the erection and installation phase, we needed lots of skilled labor. Unfortunately, the only labor we could take from the local industry was the people to dig. When you want to make some huge civil construction, you want to dig deep. So the only labor available in the locality was some day laborers, and they could come, dig the land, and help the construction work. We needed lots of INC engineers. We needed lots of welders, lots of machinists, and lots of people who know sophisticated technical work. So what happened in the course of the project implementation, there were many people, they were really smart. So what they did, they worked with the EPC contractors. Our EPC contractor is a Chinese organization, CMC. So they worked with them. They learned with them many technical work. And today, when they do if you give them a piece of job, they do it like a real professional. So that's one thing. So firstly, our government is trying to create lots of power plants. So when our government goes for any mega projects, there are some EPC people, they come and they do certain portion of the job. And in the meantime, when in the project phase, in the commissioning phase, there is involvement of the local people. They hire engineers, they hire technicians, they learn. And for example, say every project has a guarantee period, say 2 years to 5 years. So what happens in these 2 to 5 years, the people who were working in the project phase, they get well acquainted with the technology, and they can take over when the EPC contractor leaves. So that is one of the strategies of our government. At first, they're creating jobs, and when there are people, when the work is in demand, then people get interested in that particular trend of studies. I have some relatives, they did not go to technical schools or vocational schools. They hated the study of they hated to study in a polytechnical institute. They never wanted to be a diploma engineer. Why? Because they thought of it as something not that cool. So they thought they would, they would complete their graduation and post graduation, and they will take a government job, say in the civil service or some other service. But the problem is, government in any economy, government cannot be the largest employer in the industry. So what happened? The majority of them could not do that. But the problem is there is this social stigma. What's what's in it? What's in it to be a diploma engineer? They never wanted to do that. But the fact is, today diploma engineers are in very high demand, and there are lots of amazing jobs, well-paid jobs for diploma engineers as well as graduate engineers. So in this process, the need for technical education, it has been sensed by the society. So today we see people, they some of them still the majority has not received this message. A small portion of the community, they're thinking of, okay, so if this job pays well, if this ensures a well-paid job, then why shouldn't we study this? Why shouldn't we go to polytechnical institutes? Why shouldn't we go to vocational schools? So that's one of the strategies of our government, that first they're creating jobs. And when these manufacturing jobs, these technical jobs, these things create a sensation in the society. When the stigma is removed from the society, we believe people will come forward and they will be highly encouraged to develop themselves as skilled human resources, so that they can also be a part of the development. I think that
Yes.
answers part of your question. I forgot the second part of the question. Could you please repeat?
No, basically, like I already get, because my question is about the employment opportunities and this kind of things, and we have a lot of challenges. But
Yes.
beside that, how actually government create opportunity for global arena to doing investment or industrializations and this kind of things?
Well, our government has already created some export processing zones to boost up the export and so foreign trade. The other thing is, the government is creating some special economic zones, and these special economic zones, there is a special bureau, and this particular bureau is looked after straight by the Prime Minister's office. And by the year 2025, the government has this plan of creating manufacturing jobs for 20 million people. That is huge, because once there is manufacturing jobs, once people learn to appreciate when people learn to appreciate the technical skills, then there will be a sensation inside the society, and people will come forward, and that way maybe we can move forward.
Okay, thank you. I directly have question, Mr. Arif, because you are from education arena and education things. Because already like our panelists come up with some of the things that we are not creating human resources properly. And we have a lot of challenges inside our countries, and university and education groups, they have to be more careful about developing human resources. What's the things you want to add? Is it correct, or you are taking a lot of initiatives, or education arena taking a lot of initiatives, they are not aware of that? Yeah.
Well, as you know, Bangladesh is a developing country. So we are developing all those things step by step, gradually. Because the age of Bangladesh is not like more than 50 years. We have got the independence from the Pakistan in 1971. So as I mentioned, that the current government taking a lot of initiative to develop the education and the system of education, and they are developing the curriculum of education definitely. So apart from this, in the global village, in the age of globalization, a lot of international universities are coming and merging, joining with our local universities. They are doing academic affiliation, research affiliation. They are doing teachers exchange, student mobility program, a lot of summer camp. So in that way, we are connecting the modern education system with our local education system. So we are now we are going global. So definitely the information he has given that is correct from his point of view. But from my point of view, at this current stage, we are actually connecting with international education system and the quality definitely. So we are improving ourselves. So that's why a lot of foreign company and multinational company, American company are coming to Bangladesh to invest and to get the right people to work.
Yes, thank you. Rifat, like example, you are strategically giving different kind of things about the government initiatives. So do you know how actually the local economy, actually the private corporations, they are also contributing in this industrializations and energy sectors? Yes. Can you share some information?
I have a little idea and I can share with you. The government, for the first time, when they wanted to incorporate private sector in this energy business, that dates maybe 10 years back or 15 years back. So that was the time when the government needed instant energy. So they needed quick rental power projects. So we saw some private corporations. Some private corporations were created, and some other private corporations which were already in business, they created a different wing for their energy business. So what happened ultimately? For a small, the government has allowed them a small amount of time, and in that particular period, they could, set up their own power plants, and they were providing energy to the national grid. But the problem with that quick rental power plant was the stake of the business was high. The power sector had to take huge risk, and yes, the government had ensured them high returns, and yes, today they're making really good money. For example, for government power plants and the state-owned power plants, the tariff that these power plants receive versus the tariff those quick rentals and private power plants receive, those are a bit higher. But why the government had to do this? Because back then it was really tough to receive loans from the donors and from our international organizations and our development associates, our strategic allies, to receive foreign currency so that we could procure the engineering materials for a power plant. So that was the beginning how the private organizations, they created an interest in the energy sector. Today the government has moved on, and now the government is trying to minimize the contribution of power plant. How? By pressing their throat? No, definitely not that way. The government is trying to increase the share they have. For example, today I have 10,000 megawatt of power generation. 2,000 of them is given by, say, private organizations. But now the strategy is, when we will make it 20,000, 15,000 will be from, or say 18,000 will be from government, and this 2,000 will be from private sector. This is the strategy for now the government have. So the private sector, they are encouraged, they can come forward, but the government itself also has taken lots of initiatives. Now that is one thing. And about private sector, I had a private job, say 3 to 4 years back. Now, there are some organizations, they're really doing good, but for the others, we still have to develop a corporate culture because that's very important. There will be business cycle, some ups and downs and ups and downs. But this culture, this this durability, that yes, they will stay in business, they will remain profitable, and at the same time they will nurture their employees, the people who nurture them. So I believe there are some private organizations, private corporations that are doing good science, and it's a challenge for them, implementing the corporate culture in the local arena, or I would like to say, custom made or tailor made the cultures and implement them in the society. For example, say in some Western organizations, they offer, say, liquor in their parties. So say it's a local organization. So they might think, oh, okay, we will not offer liquor. So what we offer mango juice. So by understanding the values and the pulse of the public, they can talk out what is suitable for them, and they can think of their own culture. For example, I would like to cite two very important things. Let's say two major drawbacks if you work in the private sector. There is say the CPF, the Contributory Provident Fund facility. All private organizations, they don't have that facility, and there are some other challenges. For example, if you switch jobs, maybe that might be forfeited, maybe not in pen and paper, but in fact, in real sense scenario, maybe the CPF amount that gets stuck, maybe the management thinks, what's the point of giving him that money? Keep it as long as possible. The private sector doesn't offer pension. That's another thing. The private sector doesn't offer job security. So all these things. And another thing I would like to say, our private organizations, our country, in our country, the major private sectors, those are raised by some major mega mind entrepreneurs. For example, I would like to say Aki's group, Sheikh Akizuddin, the visionary. I would like to name some. I can mention some other names. So you can find there was one man behind this entire growth. So those people were visionary and they really understood their business. And the private organizations in our country, they really need to know how to keep the family and the business separate. I think these are some of the challenges in the private sector, and I believe if the private sector can de-bottleneck the problems they have, it will be able to draw the attention of the youths, and as a result, they will stop hanking after a government job, and they will work dedicatedly for the private organizations. We'll see people will join a private organization when he or she is 18 years old, and he or she will retire at the age of 60, working for the same organization and throughout his life. So we have still a lot to do to create that mindset in the young generation of our society. So that's pretty much about it. So both the parties have some things to do.
Yes, this is a very interesting point. This is a very interesting point because, example, because I live in Malaysia and I try to learn from even Singapore as well. So I asked them, National University of Singapore's professors and other things, what is the inner strategy that Singapore, actually they do not have any natural resources or anything, why they are too much of successfuls. So they said that they have few sort of strategy that which is help them to make them more successful. So one is meritocracy, another one is policy, and another one is honesty. So what the first part actually what Rifat said, that developing nations has problem always they're bringing their family members and relatives and other things in the top position, even they are not capables. But Singapore do in that way, they're bringing always the right peoples and the talented people in the in the position. So bringing the right people also very important. So Mr. Ariful, actually you are working for private organizations and private corporations, and they are very big. Definitely they are very big. But my question is that how actually they are working in this COVID period, because also a lot of people come up with different kind of issues that still education industry, they have to improve a lot. Private corporation has different kind of things that they have to change the mindset, change the cultures, and many things actually come. On the other hand, we also know that private corporation, they also taking a lot of initiatives to, and they become big and big, and they become good amount of money. In that situation, what's your ultimately experience from the private industry, which is actually set a good example? You can unmute yourself.
As you mentioned about two organizations repeatedly, and Mr. Rifat was addressing about the family-oriented business structure. Yes, he said rightly, very rightly. But the organization I have been working, like Champion Education Group and definitely there is a two dynamic leader under these two group. So who are the founder of those both organizations. So when the COVID symptom happened in Bangladesh first time, I found both of the leader actually decided very rightly that anytime government can decide anything like this. We might need to close the classes or might need to close the institutions. So they have decided we need to get the preparation for online teaching. So they have got all the platform with the online platform, like we are talking. I think through I think SteamYard. There was a Zoom. There was some other very specific platform to deliver the classes, and the people now getting people are getting now involved with those things and getting used to. Though Bangladesh was not prepared for this sort of threats, so I think they are coping up with this situation, and I think improving. Maybe if the situation happen again in Bangladesh, they will be definitely very good in terms of delivering that courses.
Yes, in that
and competing
situation,
with the
actually,
international.
nobody has a very good preparation. So what is the concluding remark from Mr. Rifat?
Well, if you ask me, I'm not that much of an expert, but the private sector, they are the driving force of any economy, and it has to stay like that, because if the private sector cannot grow, all the things we talk about every day, the GDP growth, uh, the escalation of living standard, and the mass people living a more comfortable life. All these things are not possible if private sectors don't grow. So my opinion is the private sector should grow. And in some cases, if the private sector needs some policy related support, and if they need some infrastructure related support, the government can adopt a policy so that they are more helpful. And in many of the cases, the government can be a guardian. For example, if there is some problems in any corporation, the government can act as a guardian. It can safeguard the interest of the employees, at the same time the interest of the employers. So these things can be done. And I think Arif Bhai and me, we both will agree totally that for the overall growth of any country, any nation, whatever we talk about, private sector has to grow. It should grow. If it doesn't grow, all the things we talk about every day, the GDP growth and everything, moving from an agro-based society to an industry-based society, none of these will be possible. So yes, I believe it should grow, and I believe some of the new initiatives that our government is taking, I believe the private sector will be able to benefit from that. That's pretty much about
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Arif. What are the concluding remarks you want to share with us?
My concluding remarks would be you have organized this wonderful discussion. Definitely, I must thank you for organizing this session. And definitely, we had different angle discussion in terms of economy, in terms of different industry like power, education, accountancy, and many things. So I think all are closely related. Even
It's a
both,
cycle.
even we
It's
are from
actually a
different
cycle.
industries. Yeah. If you think about the ecosystem of economy, definitely all are related. So the discussion was very constructive. So after concluding all the discussion, I think at the end we should say the economy, sustainable economy would be the our first considerable things. So for sustainable economy, economical growth and development, we need to work together and we need to work smart. We need to work hard, and definitely we need to work globally, not like national locally. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. This is actually very good, nice discussion. That is my objective. Even IBM TV, they are more globals. They are promoting their shows around 122 countries. So our target is that we have to understand around the world what happening to North Americas, to Europes, to Asias, to Africa, everywhere from around the world. Many people actually joining theirs. And beside that, we have a target. We want to with this show, my objective is that we want to grow this sustainable economy, and we need a combination of macro and micro initiative. Yes, and we have to be more careful about this micro initiative, as well as what Mr. Rifat said about the private organizations growth and other things. On the other hand, government taking a lot of initiatives. It's a combined relationships. So when we combinedly our educations, our industrializations, our micro initiative, our financial initiative, everything we grow smoothly, definitely from these pandemic situations we can overcome soon. So thank you everyone to watching these shows. So hopefully we in the future we will invite this panelist for different aspects and for different issues. So hopefully it will be very interesting. Thank you IBM TV, continuously doing the good jobs. So everybody please watch IBM TV. It's one of the fastest growing televisions, online televisions, and it's doing a very interesting jobs. So thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.